box here. I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll make my own prosthetic arm. Doesn't everybody do that? When the media found out about it, I was everywhere. National media, national press, it said, one-armed man takes flight training with DIY prosthetic. It said, robo-pilot, or it could have been robo-pilot, because my surname is Robinson. I'm not really certain what they were getting at there. 2 weeks after this photograph was taken, my prosthetic arm was passed by a medical flight examiner, which meant I could go solo. A week after that, I did my first solo flight. That was scary. Well, you know, it was a mixed bag of emotions because I've been doing these things called circuits, and you're probably all pilots here. Are we all pilots? Oh, most of us. I like that. So we've been doing these circuits, which is basically flying around an imaginary circuit in the sky. And we've been coming down to landing, and they're called touch and go. So you land, you run on the runway for maybe 100 metres or 100 yards, and you pull the stick back and you take off again. You fly around the circuit, you do it all over again. And we did it 5 times. On the 5th time, my instructor said, right, Steve, stop the aircraft. I'm getting out. I said, what do you mean you're getting out? He said, well, I'm just going to get out. He said, I want you to do what you've just done 5 times before. So he got out and he waved me off. And I'm lined up on the runway. I pushed full power on. It was like an out-of-body experience, actually, because I was watching myself do it. People say you're really excited and nervous, and I was nothing. I was just calm. I was just like watching myself going through the motions. And I pushed full power on, and I'm watching all the dials in the green area, so I knew I was okay. And then I was watching the airspeed indicator, which is a bit like your speedometer in a car. And it went up to 60 knots, and I pulled back on the stick, and I took off. And I thought, I'm doing it. I'm doing it by myself. And as I'm climbing out, I heard this voice over the radio, and it said, attention all traffic. It said, first time solo pilot is in the circuit. No landings, no touch and goes until he's landed. Keep clear, stay away from him. I thought, oh, that's me. I thought I'd best nail this landing, because I realised while ever I was trying to land, if I had to do a go-around because I couldn't land, all these other pilots were stuck in the circuit, burning up fuel, and I thought they won't be happy with me. So I come in for the final, and I'm thinking, oh, this feels a bit too high, and I'm a bit too fast. And I was going to do a go-around straight away, and I thought, no, just see what happens, Steve. So I got a bit closer, and I thought, oh, I'm still a bit high, and I'm still a bit fast. I thought, yeah, I'll do a go-around. I thought, no, don't panic, Steve. Get a bit closer. So I got a bit closer, and I got to 5 feet above the runway, and I looked at all the dials, and I thought, oh, actually, it looks good. I'm at the right speed. I've got the right attitude. I thought, oh, I'll go for this. I nailed it. First time, to rapturous applause over the radio. I guess my flying instructor never sent out a pilot with one arm before. 2 weeks after that, I did my cross-country qualifying flight, where I had to fly from my home airport, which is a little place called Sherburne-in-Elmet. It's a little place. I don't even know whether you've got any places as small as that here in the US. It's a small place. And I had to fly to an international airport, which was called Durham Tees International Airport, and I flew through a military aerodrome traffic zone. And I landed, and I got my logbook stamped, and I had a cup of tea, of course, because I'm English. And then I had to take off and fly down to this other airport called Humberside, which is another international airport. I had to land, get my logbook stamped, and of course, have another cup of tea because I'm English. And then I had to fly back all the way to my home airfield with the evidence, and of course, have a cup of tea. We do drink a lot of tea, don't we? 2 weeks after that, I did my skills test, which is a little bit like your driving test, but in the sky, isn't it? I am a fully qualified pilot. This is the aircraft I fly. It's called a Robin 2160. It's a 2-seater aerobatics aircraft. I don't do aerobatics. Not yet. Actually, that's something I used to say. So remind me to tell you more about that before I finish. Then, of course, all the awards started coming in. This is the Douglas Bader Memorial Trophy. Do people know about Douglas Bader in the USA? So Douglas Bader was a Second World War Spitfire ace, and he had no legs. And I was awarded that in his name. I'm super proud of that, super proud. Do you recognise the chap on the left this time? Prince Faisal of Jordan. The chap on the right, it's not Steve Martin, but it's a dead ringer for him, isn't it? It's a chap called Sir Andrew Pulford. He was the Chief Air Marshal back then, presenting me with this award. Then I was awarded Yorkshire Inspirational Individual of the Year last year, representing my county. I'm super proud of that, super proud. I'm not sure I like the tie, but I'm super proud of it. Then I was all over the media. I've been on every conceivable TV programme you can think of in the UK. This one was called The One Show, that airs on a nightly basis to 4 million people. I said to somebody not so long since, I had a massive audience, and I said, has anybody seen me on The One Show? And 4 people put their hands in the air. And I said, they told me 4 million saw it. I guess nobody's seen it here. That's a shame, isn't it? My book's out later this year. Do you like the title? Can you believe that took a lot of thinking about? I kept thinking, what can I call it? And it's obvious, isn't it? But it took a lot of thinking about. This is the award that I'm most proud of. I was awarded this in the Queen's New Year's Honours List. The Queen of England knows my name. Well, at least I know hers. But I think everybody does. This is called the British Empire Medal. I'm super proud of that for my outstanding contribution to the community and to disabled people. Now, before I play out with this quick video I'm going to tell you about, I want to leave you with these few thoughts. Opportunities are everywhere. What will happen if you don't take them? Nothing. Precisely. That's why when I was asked to speak here today, I thought, well, if I don't come, then for certain no opportunities will come from it. But if I just go and do it, maybe, just maybe, there may be some opportunities. Always seize an opportunity. How did I get that flying scholarship? I asked. I know it might be a cliche, but if you don't ask, you don't get. Because they don't know you want it in the first place. How did I overcome my fears? By using a proven psychotherapy methodology known as exposure therapy. So if you're afraid to do something, do it just a little bit one day. Do it again just a little bit the next day. And a bit the next. And a bit the next. And before you know, you will be no longer afraid. If I can do all these things with one arm, just imagine what you're capable of achieving with two. Now, that award I got from the Queen was a freebie, and I love freebies. I've been walking around here picking up pens, picking up sweets, and thinking, oh, yeah, I'm rich with freebies. So, I'm going to give a freebie. It's going to cost you nothing. I'm not selling anything. I just want to give, because if you don't give, you don't get. If at the end of my talk you would like me to send you my audio tape, oh, it's not a tape anymore, that's an old terminology, isn't it? My audio file, I will send you a totally free audio file that just talks in more depth about overcoming fears and stuff like that. Also, I will send you a link to the one show that I was on, and if you like, I'll try and find a link to a film called Reach for the Skies, which is all about the story of Douglas Bader, which is a great, great film. See me at the end, give me your business card, give me your email address, and I'll do that free of charge. Nothing, you won't owe me anything at all. Now, remember I told you I didn't do aerobatics? Well, in the UK there's this TV programme, and it's called This Time Next Year, where you make a pledge. Like now, I'll say, well, I'm going to learn how to drink beer by this time next year. So the next year, you go and say, look, I can drink all this beer, I did it. Well, this company approached me and they said, Steve, we want you to do a challenge on our TV programme. I said, yes, what would you want me to do? Ride round a field on my horse? Or land at 5 airports in 5 hours? They said, no, Steve, we want you to do aerobatics. I said, no way, no. I said, no, I don't like aerobatics. They said, aren't you a motivational speaker? Don't you go around the world saying how anything is possible? I said, yeah. They said, don't you talk about overcoming your fears by using exposure therapy? At which point I realised I'd backed myself into a corner. And I had to say, yes, okay, I'll do it. But the first time I did it, I was petrified. It was absolutely awful. It was terrifying. It was brilliant. It was amazing. It was every conceivable emotion you can think of. It was fantastic. keep your eye on my flying instructor. He looks scared to death.
Those magnificent men in their flying machines, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They enchant all the ladies and steal all the scenes with their up to the up, and then down to the down. Up, down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the ground. They're all frightfully keen, those magnificent men in their flying machines. They can fly upside down with their feet in the air. They don't think of danger, they really don't care. Newton would think he had made a mistake to see those young men and the chances they take. Those magnificent men in their flying machines, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They enchant all the ladies and steal all the scenes with their up to the up, and their down to the down. Up, down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the ground. They're all frightfully keen, those magnificent men in their flying machine.
I can't believe I actually like that. I look like the instructor and he looked like the student, didn't he? You know what? If you're afraid of doing something, do it, because you might find something you really love and you really enjoy. I love this. And I just got my aerobatics license 4 weeks ago. So maybe next year I might be here doing a display. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? The one-hour man from Leeds doing aerobatics. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stephen Robinson, inspirational speaker. I'm really happy to be here in the US, and thanks for being so welcoming and wonderful people. And thank you for listening. Thank you very much. Thank you.